Hi and welcome to the Student Surgery. Today our topic is what's in a question? What's in a question? There's a lot in a question and there's more than the topic that you have to write about. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. If your essay question is evaluate the different ways Britain and Finland approach refugee education, and you start writing an essay about refugees and about education in Finland and about education in Britain, and you're talking about the refugee crisis and war, that's nice. But you're going to get a B because you didn't read the question. The question is asking you to evaluate. There are questions that are going to ask you to evaluate. There are questions that are going to ask you to compare. And there are questions that are going to ask you to discuss and analyze, kind of the same thing. But the first two are not the same thing. Okay, the first one is evaluate. And step back. Why is it important to know the difference? Not only because you're going to answer it differently, which is really important, but also it's going to give you a hint into the type of literature you need to be going to find. Okay, if I'm asked to evaluate something, I'm being asked, was it successful or was it not successful? I'm being asked to kind of test it after it's been done, not to test it as it's happening, but to evaluate it. Did it work? Did it fail? Okay. And so I'm not going to necessarily be relying completely on peer-reviewed academic literature and theory and philosophies, etc. I will need that to make my essay beautifully academic and get that A. But what I also need to be dipping my toes and getting my teeth into is reports, school reports, governmental reports about how these two countries have implemented their programs to work with refugee kids in schools, both in Britain and Finland. Did it work? Evaluate means, did it work? Show me how it failed. Show me how it didn't fail. Okay, so evaluating is all about that. If I'm being asked to compare something, that didn't ask me to compare between the two. It's asking me what worked in each one. If I'm comparing, then my essay needs to kind of be really balanced. I want to show how the two things work and how they work differently. I'm not very interested in the results. I'm interested in the programs themselves. What happened? If we're still taking that that example, it can seem really subtle and kind of be the same, but it's not asking you to compare the results. It's asking you to compare between the two things. Okay, so it's a subtle difference, but it's really important. So are you being asked to evaluate or to compare? Discuss and analyze, we'll talk about later.